Caroline Sutherby, and welcome to Up, Down, and Around Town. Well, I hope you're enjoying all that snow. A lot of people are welcoming the idea of maybe going to Florida and some other nice warm place. But hey, even down south, they're having a problem. So I guess no matter where you go, you gotta take this weather in its stride and just hope for April and May. Anyway, as a lot of you people know, back in January, we did have the health clinic, and we did talk to several people in the last couple of weeks about the insurance for people that do not have insurance, are working, need doctors' calls to get more information, and there is the clinic on 3333 Biddle. If you want to go down there, talk to them and find out more. Also, since we had the idea of that New Year's resolution in 2014, we had Lisa come on and do her first show of the
StayFit TV.
Yeah. And by the way, this is Lisa. She came to us back in September. And what was the first thing that you actually did? You did camera work.
Well, when I first came to volunteer at the studio, I did do camera work. I was signed to the camera because I really wanted more experience behind the camera. I did an internship in Toledo, and I basically was in the field a lot with the reporters, trying to learn how to do reporting in the field. And I did work behind the scenes a little bit, doing some production assistant and news content specialist, where I worked in a master control room, and I worked on the floor, directing the anchors and doing the teleprompter. And I really needed a little bit more experience behind the camera, though. I learned a lot of that at Wayne State University by putting my first documentary together. However, I still needed to hone my skills in those areas, in the camera operation, definitely.
Okay, what's going to happen after you get all this experience?
Well, one day I do plan to become a reporter, and that is my ultimate goal, to become a reporter and also even do some hosting in the metropolitan Detroit area. So I'm trying to gain all the necessary skills as possible to make that happen. And I thank Wyandotte Public Access Cable for giving me this opportunity to do so. It's a great experience doing this, absolutely.
Not only experience, I think it gives all of us a little chance to meet other people. I mean, Joe started with us, and Rick has been here, and of course Barb's been on and off all these years, and finally came back, about 3 years ago, does the audio. We had quite a few of our crew that passed away, so we need replacements, so it's nice, it's fresh blood. It gives us a chance to, why don't you think about that, and maybe we can go tape that. So it keeps us going, and that's what we welcome. Not only did you come with your experience, but with us having that health kick back in January, you started with your show. Maybe you want to tell people how come you got started and when to see it.
Oh, absolutely. StayFit TV is something that we started because I have been teaching group fitness exercises for quite some time now. It's been about 10 years. I've taught at several gyms, Lady Physique, which used to be in the Taylor and Dearborn Heights area. Then after they closed, I ended up teaching at Body and Balance, which was in Dearborn, Michigan. I taught there for about 7 years, and the owner, she decided to close because she just really wanted to pursue some other things, but it was really great working there, had great opportunity to help people reach their fitness goals. And since it did close back in November of 2012, I decided that I'm still on my fitness journey, and I still feel that I have a need to teach other people how to stay healthy and stay fit. And I said, well, I'm volunteering here at the studio, so it makes so much sense to put a fitness television program together. That way you can exercise in the comfort of your own home, and so the viewers can be able to participate. And we all have had a really crazy winter, and it's really difficult to get out in the snow. And so a lot of people, I'm sure, appreciate the opportunity to work out in their own home. We started out with our first group exercise, which was step aerobics. And I had with me that day Renee Millen and Shannon Thomas. Those were two of the young ladies that were in my class when I taught in Dearborn.
Okay.
And I asked them to join me on the set. You'll probably see other people coming in from Body and Balance, and I will have them come in also to do some group fitness instructor. We have a kickboxing instructor that will be coming in March, and that's Noelle, and she's going to be coming to teach kickboxing. She's been doing it for quite a while. And I'm even looking in definitely the Wyandotte area. There's a lot of people that teach in this area as well. Even in Southgate, there's some Yoga for Peace. They actually teach yoga there, and it's a nonprofit organization there. And what they do is they have people just donate when they come. They don't even charge them for classes. They just come in and they donate. And I happen to know a young lady there, a couple. Matter of fact, one of them taught yoga at Body and Balance, and another one I used to work with at my former employer. She's a yoga instructor as well. So I would definitely probably like to get them involved in it as well. So you're not just going to see me on StayFit TV, but you'll also see other people that teach other classes such as yoga, Pilates, and
What is Pilates?
Pilates is it's one step up from yoga.
Okay.
It's an exercise that helps you to stretch your limbs more so you can have a more defined posture.
Okay.
And I think it's a lot more difficult because some of the Pilates that you use different equipment also. And I'm not a Pilates instructor, but there are going to be some people that's going to teach, and it really helps you to lengthen your body, to help you with your spine. And it's even a good form of physical therapy for some people, even some people who have been injured. I have someone that teaches it. She even helps them to get back in shape and get their bodies and their muscles limber again after they've come through surgery or something like that. So it's a really good form of exercise. And yoga helps with breathing, it helps with meditation, and it also helps with your body being limber. So not only are we going to have cardio exercises such as your step aerobics and kickboxing, but like the yoga and Pilates, these are going to help you to not only define your body and tone your body, but also to help you to have a more defined look and your muscles to be limber. And it's for all ages. It's not just for someone that's older. A lot of people used to associate yoga with somebody maybe older, and maybe a lot of people would stay away from that type of yoga. But no, yoga's for everyone. Cardio classes for everyone. Step aerobics, it's good for people, but of those who had surgery, knee surgery, they have to kind of back off. And sometimes when I would teach my class, I would have modified exercises for them. Okay. So I would basically modify the exercises if it was just too much pressure on their knees. So there's going to be a variety of exercises, boot camp classes. I wish we can hold some spin classes here. If we had the actual bikes, we can actually have spin classes in here, and that would be excellent, because spinning is really taking off too. So the spin exercises.
Okay, how? I don't get that.
Well,
you have to explain that.
Oh, spin exercises, it's like stationary bikes. It's almost like a stationary bike.
Okay.
But these bikes, you can actually you can move up and down on them. You can the arms. You can move your arms a certain way, and it's like almost like you're racing on a bike, and then you can slow down and you can race, and you build your cardio up to a certain level, and then you can lower your cardio level by doing all different types of things. You can do push-ups on the bike, and it's just a variety of things that you can do on the bike just to get your heart pumping and to get you moving, and it works your overall body also.
Is there a place around here that has that?
There are some gyms that do offer some spin classes. I don't think there's any like right in the immediate Wyandotte area. I'll have to look that up. But most of the gyms, I believe, do offer them. LA Fitness, I think they just moved in They're in Woodhaven. I know that, what's the gym out in Canton? I know they definitely offer it.
Really?
The name just slipped my mind, but it's Lifetime Fitness. Yeah, okay. Lifetime Fitness, they definitely offer, you know, spinning classes.
So you have many facets to yourself. Like we talk to so many people that have, we always say different hats. You definitely have different hats.
I do. I do. I have to say I do a variety of things, and I've done that all my life. Even probably since high school, growing up, I've always been an active person, and I like to be involved in activities, and especially physical fitness. I've always ran track, and I ran marathons, like half marathons. I'm a runner also. It's kind of off season for me now. I haven't been running as much because you can't run outside, but I try to run inside at the rec center. There's a Romulus rec center. There's a little tarmac there, and I try to get in some running there, but not so much as in the wintertime that I usually run in the summertime. But my goal is to eventually run a full marathon before I turn 50. I'm 48 now, and I have like one more year, but that's my goal, to do a full marathon. And a lot of my buddies, they have already done that, and they've actually are encouraging me to do it, and I always wanted to. But yeah, I do wear many hats, and I have a lot of creative juices flowing that I like to just offer to everyone. And you know, physical fitness is excellent. I think it's an excellent part of your life, and it can extend your life if you're actually eating healthy at the same time. And I really have to say, yes, I do. I do wear many hats, and I think it's really great because if you are not doing something else, you can always fall back on something. Yes, because originally I was working into office administration and human resources, and I always wanted to do broadcast journalism, though, always. And that has been with me throughout my life, and I just kind of put it on the back burner. And I had worked for Detroit Public Schools for 19 years, and then I went, after I got my bachelor's degree, I ended up working for a civil engineering consulting firm, and I did some HR and office administration there. And while I was working there, I pretty much was trying to go to Wayne State University, put myself through school so I can finish my broadcast journalism. I did get laid off there, but that gave me the opportunity to actually come here to do some volunteerism. And it gave me an opportunity also to go to Toledo to do the internship and work as a production assistant. So there is no downtime for me. It's been a nice ride here. It's been a roller coaster up and down as far as unemployment and job-wise, but I have to say that I haven't stopped as far as using my creativity, and it's helping me go into other directions and leading me into other opportunities, which is really great. So I tell anybody, if you are unemployed, try to make use of volunteerism. Try to use your creativity to do other things besides just sitting at home. There's so many other things that you can do, you know, until you get that opportunity. And when an employer see you like that, they see you wanting to use your creativity and trying to learn things, even though you're not employed, they can see that quality in you to know that you're a driven person. So I just tell anybody, always continue to be driven regardless of what you go through in life, because it's going to lead to something good eventually. You know, eventually. Yeah.
Okay, that eventually brings us to a topic that we started last week. It's Black History Month, and I said, hey, good source, find out. You had an aunt that you've been marvelous telling us about her history and how she landed up in the pharmacy. Was she actually one of your people that sort of got you to think like this?
Wow, not necessarily. It's funny because it was her sister that pretty much got me to think as far as education and things like that.
Was she?
I'll start from, I am originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and she is a byproduct of Pennsylvania, but she was born in Virginia. But yes, it was her sister who had my siblings come to Michigan to help us out with our college education, because there were 6 of us in the family, and financially it was a really struggle trying to get everybody to go to college. So her brother, my aunt Elizabeth Wise Greene, is my grandfather's sister. So it's my mother's father's sister. So she's my aunt, and basically her sister my Aunt Selena, who worked at Detroit Public Schools. She was a language arts supervisor. And she had her own reading room at Detroit Public Schools as well. But she was the one that was very instrumental in all of us getting an education. When my grandfather passed away, he left some money for my oldest sister to start and come to Michigan back in 1979. That's when it all started. And my aunt asked her to come here, my Aunt Selena, who was my Aunt Betty, the pharmacist sister. And so that's when she came, and she basically started in college. And she said, well, if Della does very well, I'm going to ask everyone else to come. So she asked my brother, and she asked me. So it kind of went on and on and on. And some of them did not take advantage of the opportunity. 3 of my siblings. Well, actually, my sister came, but she left because she thought my aunt was too strict. So she went back home. But basically, she asked all of us to come. And she wanted to start us out 2 years only, though. It was just 2 years. You go to your junior college, she'll help you, you know, with your schooling and stuff like that. She owned a lot of real estate in Detroit. She owned about like 20 homes. So that's how I would get my money to buy my books and stuff for school. So I would clean the homes, and then I would go with her to interview the tenants to see which tenants would be the right ones for the place. So she would let us do that. And then we would clean all the homes out and prep them so that the movers can move in. But that was our way of earning money. She always taught us how to really earn money that way. And she lived in a really huge house. I thought it was huge because we came from this small house in Pittsburgh, and she lived in the Boston Edison area in Detroit off of Longfellow between 12 and 14. And I came in 1983, and back then Detroit was really booming. It was still pretty much doing very well. I mean, I remember, you know, Hudson's was moving out of downtown Detroit, but other than that, most of the major stores like Crowley's and all of the other stores, they were still there. But basically, I came, and then my sister went back, and we all did very well, and we all got our degrees. And then I met my aunt, you know, my Aunt Betty. I mean, I knew her as a child, but I got to really, really know her. And she was a licensed pharmacist. And I mean, I just have to share this story first.
Oh, yes.
Because my aunt I had the one aunt that I stayed with, she was a Christian Scientist, which they did not believe in medicine at all.
Oh, really?
No.
Okay, all right.
Not at all.
So they have to switch.
Yeah. Okay, so my Aunt Betty, we call her Aunt Betty, Elizabeth Greene-Wize, she was a pharmacist. So the two of them, they got along, but they didn't get along as far as the medicine part. They were sisters, and they got along in that realm. But as far as the mech, so my aunt asked me to work at the pharmacist, so you know how that went. I don't want her around medicine. And I said, wait a minute, I'm not going to be taking the medicine. I'm going to be dispensing the medicine. So basically, she ended up letting me work there, though. So my aunt was a licensed pharmacist in Detroit, Michigan. But let me tell you how it all started. She became a licensed pharmacist. First, she went to school to Wayne State University. It was called Wayne University at the time. And she went to school for pre-med. Back in 1938, she got her bachelor's degree in pre-med, and she wanted to become a doctor. But at Wayne State University, they had a quota, and they only allowed 1 black per year to go to medical school. So there was 1 black male in her class, and he ended up getting accepted in medical school, and she didn't. She didn't have any funds to go to school out of state, and she had come from Virginia, from Pittsburgh, and to live with my Aunt Ollie Victoria Lee, and basically she didn't have any money really to go out of state, you know, so she pretty much enrolled into pharmacy school, and she went to Wayne State's pharmacy school since she couldn't become a doctor. That was like the closest thing to becoming a doctor. So she actually became a pharmacist, a licensed pharmacist, and she really had to kind of work her way up because back then there weren't a lot of black female pharmacists working in the hospital, so there were some people, a lot of physicians that gave her opportunities and pharmacists to work for them. And I remember there's a documentary that her grandmother did that hopefully I'll get a chance to show.
Okay.
And her granddaughter was named Elizabeth Greene as well, and she did a documentary when she went to Wayne State on my aunt before she passed away. And talks about her journey of how it all started, and the money she had to get a loan from someone, another pharmacist, in order to help her to open up her store. But she was encouraged by other pharmacists to open up her own pharmacy. And she took a chance, she took a risk, and she took the loan graciously, was with gratitude and everything from the other pharmacy, the doctor. And she did really well. She ended up becoming the first African American in the state of Michigan, the first African female American to have her own chain of pharmacies in Michigan. So she really left a legacy here. And also she had scholarships for minority students at Wayne State University to be enrolled in pharmacy schools. Back in 2007, it was her last, it was their first time celebrating diversity as far as in the health care. Those that were made history in healthcare. Wayne State University, they built the Eugene Applebaum School of Medicine. And she actually sat on that advisory board for quite some time, and she committed some of her funds to it and everything as an alumni of Wayne State. She really wanted to make sure that this building was going to be built for the purpose of helping medical students. So she really contributed to that. And to this day, Wayne State University, Eugene Applebaum School of Medicine, right now they have like a big poster up of her right now for Black History Month. And it has her biography letting everyone know what she did and the strides that she made for every Black African American, every female in the medical field, especially in pharmacy. And she's done really well. In 2007, she actually didn't stop working until she was 90 years old. And we actually had to kind of talk her into retiring. She did not want to retire. I was like, Aunt Betty, you're going to have to retire. I mean, you can just, this is ridiculous, because she was standing on her feet. As a pharmacist, you don't sit.
Right.
So for all those years, for over 60 years.
Yeah, but that's what kept her going.
Yeah, that kept her going, I have to say, but she would not quit.
Yeah.
And we had to, I remember her sons talking to her and saying, Mom, please, So eventually, she did. She eventually retired. And I know in 2007, getting back to the diversity, it was a diversity award ceremony. I remember attending that in 2007, and I had an opportunity to meet some of her friends that were still at the college when she was there. And it was really great. It was an opportunity. They honored other African Americans that were the first in Michigan to do great things as far as health care was concerned. And it was great. They gave her a nice award and had a nice little ceremony afterwards. We took some pictures and things, and we'll show you those a little later. We took some pictures, and it was a great time. And this was in 2007. And she had retired, and not in 2007, she retired in 2000, well, yeah, around that time she had retired. She was like close to 90 at that time. And then, unfortunately, she started having some problems with her heart, and she passed away in July of 2009. And she was just, if she didn't have heart problems, I think she would live a very long life. Because she was just so, she was an avid golfer, and she skated. She was like, she roller skated until she was like in her 70s. And she was a great golfer, an avid golfer. She would go to Traverse City, go to different venues up there and stuff, and participate in golfing outings. And she would actually win some of the golfing out. She was really good. And she taught my brother how to play golf, and she actually had given him his own set of golf clubs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I never learned how to play golf. I should have learned from her. I should have learned, And then also, she afforded everybody in her family, from nieces to cousins to nephews to brothers, to just anyone that wanted to work at the pharmacy. She gave them an opportunity to become pharmacy techs. All of her grandchildren. There were people from the different churches that she allowed to work at a pharmacy. Of course, I even worked at the pharmacy, and it was almost as though she was trying to get us to see if we would have at least some type of interest in the medical field, not per se pharmaceutical, but just in the medical field, period. And I could tell she was trying to kind of see if we would like that. And I just never really got into it, but I do have one cousin now that's at Wayne State University, actually at Eugene Applebaum School of Medicine. And she posted a picture last week of the poster of my aunt. And she was also at that diversity award ceremony. Her name was Francine Burgess, and she's right now at Wayne State University working on her doctorate of physical therapy. So
she's still in the medical line.
Exactly. So maybe we all didn't go into pharmaceutical, but I mean, this is like, I just look at it as she's going to college right now over at Wayne State. And she said every time she comes to the building and she might see my aunt's picture this month of February, it just gives her that drive and it motivates her anymore because the program is so difficult. And she said every time she sees my aunt's picture, she says, oh yeah, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it.
She did, I will, right?
She said, I'm going to make it. So when she said that last week, I said, that is so nice. I mean, you just never know the legacy that someone can leave to motivate you to even become greater.
Yeah.
And she left such a legacy that it's even motivating me. I mean, I always think about myself. I said, man, I should be much further along. I mean, I look at the history of everybody really in my family. You know, even her sisters and brothers, they've done really great. One of her sisters was the president of Bowie State University. I mean, way back in the 70s. You know, and that was unusual. You know, and then her brother, you know, we call him my Uncle Scoop, who lived in Virginia. He was an architecture, and I mean, it was like he built everything in Danville, Virginia you can think of. Every school, every building you see down there has my Uncle Joel Hunt Jr.'s name on it. Yeah, so I mean, it's like all these different people, they, you know, back in, you know, all her sisters and brothers, they've did some extraordinary things. And I'm happy to be a product of it, you know. Yeah. I'm going to get my share one day.
You're going to get it, lady. Anyway, you did bring the obituary pictures.
I did.
I think we could probably zoom in on it. The original picture on top was a picture of, what, her mom, right?
Right, her mom. There's three there. You can see that there's a picture of her. She's holding a baby, Aunt Betty, and then you'll see in the middle. And we'll have those on the documentary as well. So if you're not able to get all of those,
so it's nice to know that, you know, like I'm with the Women of Wyandotte, and I've been doing research and looking through all the scrapbooks and all the 3x5s and all this stuff at the library, and you always hear about the men and what they do, but there's always a woman in back of a man.
Yes.
And I had to, I mean, there was Mrs. Biddle, Mrs. Van Alstyne, Mrs., you know, all these here. So I had to get the information on what they did. And it's, the one that still really sends me off is Mrs. Spargo. She had been in overseas during the World War II. She got married. She had one child. She was pregnant with the second when her husband was taken as a prisoner. Then she went to 13 concentration camps before she came to the States and came in this area. Wow. And when I marvel at what she went through with her children, and you see some other people that maybe not as delicate as that one, but they're all trying to do something to make it worthwhile, to educate their kids, to get them out in the right path and help out in the community as well. So it's like I'm interested in getting history, and so that's why this intrigues me when I think you're talking about an aunt that was born in the 30s, right? And what she had to go through and what she achieved. You can have so many blocks, but what do you do about it? Do you make a turn in another direction and do something else? And it's probably a lesson for all of us.
Well, she came here at 12 years old in 1928.
1928?
Yeah, at 12 years old, yes.
So,
and it's amazing how, I say never give up on people, because when she was in Pittsburgh, she was like a tomboy, so to speak. And
you have to be.
Yeah, and she was always very smart though, but she was like a tomboy, and I guess she got into a lot of trouble in the neighborhood. And they're
giving us.
Oh, we have to wrap it up. But anyway, to make a long story short, a lot of the people in Pittsburgh gave up on her, and they sent her with my aunt who adopted her. And my aunt said she's going to become a lady doctor one day, and she stuck with that. Yes.
Hey, thanks, Lisa.
You're welcome. Thank you. Yes.
And enjoy. We'll see you next time on Up, Down, and Around Town. Bye-bye.